Gator baby, we in the swamp. Crystal mom, dad, and Gator. Let's ride. Hit that airboat. Yeah, slide through the salt grass, beats on blast, sunblock dripping, shakes ass. God said watch for gators, son. We said honey, we brought one. Crystal dancing, breeze in the head. Gators got past this guy just stare. Mom and dad laughing, cameras flash. Bayou boogie, wild and bright.
Yeah, we will. We'll tell you everything. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us know when you make it home.
Bye, lobsters!
Bye!
Quack, 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 quack.
So, this is going to be my first ever creative vlog debrief. Essentially, I think like the idea of this that I had literally this weekend was like, what about if I vlog and tell stories? But the stories, I show little highlights of footage, and really my stories are the things that have inspired my creative process. This what we just are getting done with Hulaween. This is our first ever time here, and there's so many people that have come here that told us like, you guys have to do Hulaween in Florida. It's like our favorite festival. So we're like, enough people said it that we're like, we have to go check it out. And would you say this kind of like turned out to be our favorite?
Yeah. Should show the camping vibe.
Yeah. Check it out. Check out this. Check out
the
vibe.
camp vibe. We love how it's just like totally mixed in with the trees, and they're just camping everywhere. No one's filing you in. Everybody takes their space and creates a little vibe. It's lots of like really cool friend groups, and
it was great. I mean, it's rustic. It's like a nice balance of like a rustic festival experience and just enough polish. The staff was awesome here. Overall, this festival is just great. Awesome programming. It's like a kind of an open format festival. It's put on by the String Cheese Incident, which is a jam band, which comes from her world that she introduced me to, which is jam band, like rock music. I come from the electronic world, and this is like a beautiful marriage of the two in one festival. It's like a half the size kind of variation of Electric Forest, which is another festival that we absolutely love. And it was awesome. So some of the lessons I think I learned, I mean, I made a whole notepad, and actually I'll take out my little notes here of some of the things that super inspired me during this whole process. Keep.
we have RV rental service, so people have water and electric hookups through the camping area. You kind of reserve your space.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's really nice. I think one of the really big takeaways that's like on my mind right now was our DJ that we really love, Blondish. We've been a big fan of, and we actually bring props with us, and we share props with Blondish, and we engage with her while she plays, and she's so playful, or has been so playful in the past, and this way. Oh, and she gives back in these playful experiences. So, for instance, one of our first shows, we gave like little hands, or people gave her these tiny little hands that she put on her fingers, and she ended up DJing with these little hands for the majority of her set, which was really funny. And it was nice to see her like engage with it so much. So it kind of like amplified it. So like the next time we saw her, we had dressed up at Electric Forest, and because we didn't really have costumes, but a lot of people did, I had tinfoil, and we decided just to make really fast tinfoil hats, like conspiracy theory tinfoil hats, totally ghetto. It cost us 10 cents to make, but we got lots of compliments on them, and they were funny. And we decided to take those, and when we went to Blondish's set, I waved her down and I put it on her head. And then she ended up performing the whole DJ set with this tinfoil hat on. And I don't know how she kept the damn thing on her head while she was DJing with your headphones coming on and off, but it totally added a goofy vibe. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, that set. So we came back to another party in New York. It was a pop-up she did at Joe's Pizzeria in Brooklyn, just down the street from us where we live. And again, we convinced a bunch of our friends to put on these hats. We brought a big roll of tinfoil and we put it on strangers and our friends. There's probably like 20 plus of us that had these tinfoil hats on for this pop-up set. Met up with her again before the show this time and put the hat on her. And it totally became kind of a thing. In fact, this set was really funny because we showed up to the set not wearing tinfoil. We're done with the tinfoil hat. We moved on. We had like these troll wigs on. And I tried to get her to wear one. And she wasn't about it. She wasn't engaged with the crowd. She didn't look locked in at all. She played music that normally she didn't play. It was much harder. There was no like loud percussion. She didn't have her drum. It just like a lot of things seemed off, and it could have just been an off night for her. But the last show we went to was also a little bit off as well. She felt more disconnected as well. And I don't know if it's because she recently had a baby. She got married recently. They had a baby within the last year. And so being a mother and being on such a crazy touring schedule and everything probably plays a toll and just changes the mind state and maybe your head somewhere else. But it was like kind of a lesson as you grow as an artist to like find a way to still keep the thing that makes you so magical as an artist and be able to still engage with people. Yeah, it was an interesting vibe. But when we showed up to this party, there was, I think I counted 16 people wearing tinfoil hats. On the front row, they had like a fake cow, a blow up cow, and a plush dog that were wearing the hats. They were all on the rails, and we just went in and kind of like really laughed, like, hey, we started this kind of like tinfoil hat movement for Blondish. I'm like, hey, why are you guys wearing these hats? They're like, well, this is Blondish. It's a Blondish thing. So it was really funny.
On YouTube. Like, oh my gosh. I love it. And it was weird feeling almost like a little boxed out because we were going for the rail and we missed it. And all these other foil hat people, like, not our spot, but kind of our spot.
Yeah, we're always on the rail, or she asks us to come up on stage because she's always liked in the past to have the high energy people up on stage. And admittedly, we're about as high energy as people get at those parties, and really engaging with the crowd and always bring props. And last time we went as cheerleaders, and I even did videography and made her team a video post party. And that one was fun because we brought up third eyes. We put third eyes on everybody, these big, giant, sticky third eyes, because third eye on a happy face is kind of her logo. And during the set, we met up with her before, and she like scheduled like, okay, at a time I'm going to wave you up. That'll be like when you put it on me. And we made a moment out of it where she like, you know, felt like she was being possessed as I put this eye on her, and she ended up performing with her third eye for the set. It was fun. It was fun, but that energy's kind of got lost the last couple shows. And so as I'm like thinking about this, I'm like, okay, how do I, moving forward, make sure to like still make these moments with crowds and come up with like these unique little props or these unique moments to kind of like make Vibrizers or Christo unique and fun, that people can engage with, but to make sure the thing that is connecting between me and the people, more than just interesting music, or high energy DJ sets, that I can connect to people on a personal level, because I love connecting to people. Like community is so important to me. So yeah, I kind of feel like I've learned a lot from the last couple of times of watching her, especially this one. I felt kind of estranged from her during this set. We couldn't get her to look at us all. It wasn't
only that, it's just like the flow of the set.
The flow of the set, yeah.
Just really hitting.
Visual energy. We put the troll wig on top of the totem, and then my LED hat that has an LED sign saying, you know, wear the wig kind of thing, and reached it out right onto her and held it there for a bit, and just no engagement at all, which that really would have gotten engagement before. But anyway.
Well, we're sounding a little jelly right now that we didn't get to be the star of the crowd.
I like being number one fan.
But I think also the important thing is following what we feel is right. It kind of forced us to go to the Blonde show and the midnight mass before that, and neither of them really were working out. I don't know.
Yeah, we really only had two things we wanted to hit, right?
Yeah, and go with like expectations or something that it's like, I don't know, harder to meet it. Yeah, both of those things, because we did the same stage the night before, It was super fun with the drag queen and the performances and the different games.
We told everyone, oh, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You guys have to come tomorrow. Sounds like it's supposed to be bigger and better. It's midnight mass. It's their big thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bust. It was still an interesting thing, but it was much darker. There was the drag queen that was supposed to be hosting didn't show up. So the two only things that we really wanted to put on the agenda that we tried to get people to come to engage with, both ended up being the bust.
Yeah.
And then all the things that we like just passively, all the things we passively went to that just like let the weekend flow were all the things that turned out to be the best parts of the weekend. We tried to really make sure we hung out a couple times, and both of those felt like kind of awkward interactions because everyone kind of wanted to do something different. So when we just let it flow and we just like gave into the hangouts and everything worked out great. It was really fun, which I can attest to in other shows as well. But this one in particular, like the only things we planned turned out to be the busts. So yeah. And it was 4 days worth of programming. So it wasn't just a one night thing. Overall it was great.
All of them.
It got really cold.
String did not bust.
No,
Like Moody,
String
Pee-wee did not bust. There's a lot of not busts.
That I also want to take away that was a huge takeaway for me. So DJ Pee-wee.
We find all those, so it's not.
DJ Pee-wee was banging.
Yeah.
Banging. Like
The best.
Anderson
Blown
Paak.
away. Yeah.
You see why he has Grammys. He's just like immaculate on the mic as an MC. In fact, it was so clear and his levels were so good and his timing was so impeccable on the mic that she mentioned it, but it was like, it felt like it was part of the production. You're like, is he on the mic or was this pre-produced? You can't tell. And then you see, oh, he's actually on the mic. He's just killing it. Then he drummed at some point and slayed on the drums. His buddy on the trumpet, absolutely impeccable. His DJing technique, jumping genre to genre, era to era, was perfectly timed. The second I'm like, if he plays one more phrase of this song, then he'll slightly start losing people, and it totally jump into something that you didn't even know you wanted. It was like you were being fed what you didn't know you wanted, and it was impeccable. That crowd was unreal. His VJ up on stage, I did that to a few shows when I was DJing in Salt Lake City, where I'd bring the DJ and I'd put him next to me on stage. I'm like, you're also a rock star. Like what you're adding to the show, to this live performance, is so important that if you want the role of not sitting in the dark corner like the DJ used to do, sit in a dark corner, and you want to actually be on stage and be a rock star as well, like let's set you up on stage. Let's just make it a clear distinction of who's performing music, who's performing visuals. And I don't know if we made it that clear in the past when I did that who was doing what. But they did a really good job, I think. Anderson Paak did with his VJ, where his VJ had like a computer case almost thing that opened up that had visuals running on it as well, like a mini LED screen. And then he was running the screen on everything else. And I'm like, I recently had the conversation with somebody from Holocryptics, his name's Steve, back in New York City, about like how I'd like to work together with him and bring him in to perform on stage alongside me. But we haven't done it yet. We haven't been able to like sync up our time frame for shows. He's been doing another show when we have ours going. But then after seeing this, I'm like, I'm really inspired, and I want to go find footage of this, share it with Steve, and be like, hey, we can like do something like this together. Let's feel out our energies, and maybe that turns into a cool relationship or not. But that's the first time on a professional level I've seen that done in my 25 years of partying or whatever. So that was cool. It was really cool and inspiring. I also performance. He did his headphone was custom. It was like one of the single earphone head cans that you put up, but it was like way over. I mean, it was huge. It was humongous. It looked like almost like a telephone receiver, which I actually started and never finished ripping apart an old telephone receiver like you'd have in the early 90s with the armrest, and converting that, ripping apart the cables and converting that into a set of DJ headphones. But that was something that Anderson Paak did, had that custom like earpiece headphone thing done. And so I'm like, man, I do have custom headphones right now that I wrap, that I have my Curious patchwork on and stuff, but they're not that unique. They're just a nice pair of V-Moda headphones that have been customized a little bit. But it kind of like makes me want to be more unique. We saw Crystal Method recently. He had like a unique pair of blue headphones. that were super sick. So I'm like having a really signature pair of headphones for me that no one else can go buy, but also showmanship. I'm like, man, what could I do that's unique would be really cool. And at parties, I glove a lot. I used to like glove back in the day when you wear gloves and you have little LEDs at the tips and give people light shows and such. But I dance with my hands a lot. I'm very visual like that. But also I started tilting my decks forward so people could see my DJ decks while I'm performing, since I'm doing a lot of stuff and I'm moving around fast. And I feel like it'd be nice for people, whether they're not their DJs and they have an idea what you're doing, to be able to like actually see you doing some kind of performance. And stealing that from some of the artists that are using like keyboards, occasionally you see it, or like launch pads where they tilt their stuff forward and they're just pushing, lit up color blocks or something. But it's just like, at least you can see something. It's not just hands disappearing up on stage, especially when you're on stage and you're not doing like a boiler room, like ground level set. And so in adjacent to that, I'm like, it'd be really cool to get little LEDs that I can put stickies on, almost like it's fingernails, and put them on each one of my fingernails. I have colored LEDs that when I'm DJing, you can see my hands on my colored skin DJ deck that's tilted forward. So it's much more visual than a typical DJ. But then when I get excited and I just end up dancing during the middle of the set, there's a visual, interesting element hopefully there too. What else? I made a lot of notes that are sitting somewhere in my phone, but do you remember any other ones in particular that I got really excited about from this weekend? Something that I thought would be fun for drops, like mid-set, it'd be a lot of fun to get a bunch of clear balloons. And in those balloons, they have these little LED balls. Sometimes you see people put them in their mouths, or like they're super teeny, but they're super bright. And they only last for like a day. But what would be really cool is to put those inside of the clear balloons and then fill the balloons half full of the air from your mouth, and then the rest of it with helium. So that way they don't take off when you let them. They're like more like neutral buoyancy, maybe tiny bit heavier. So then you throw them out to the crowd and people can bat them in the air like you sometimes see people do with the balloons, but they don't come right back down and fall to the floor. Like as they're coming down, they come down very slow because they have the helium in there as well. It gives people plenty of time out while they're dancing to realize the balloon's coming at them. They don't come so quickly and find their way to the ground. Mm-hmm. And because they have the ball inside, if when we blow in, I don't know how long it's sustained, but I want to try this at home. When we blow in the air at the very beginning to, do it with, maybe it can even come from like our little smoke machine. We have the portable smoke machine. So that first half, I don't know if the atomized air will like hold that smoke for very long. But if it would, having that smoky balloon that's lit up inside might help disperse the light in there, so it's not like such a pin spot light, and help the whole balloon glow. Would be such a cool effect.
So would you do this, like, you'd have to put it together at the stage though?
Yeah, before the show. So maybe we have like a couple big bags. We just fill a couple trash bags full of these balloons, and we have, 40 or 50 of them. So then like during the middle of the show, like during crescendo time or something, we throw them out and pass them to people.
Put them in a tapestry.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you get like a helium tank and everything inside.
I don't know.
Maybe it's for whenever you perform at Hula. We'll do it.
Yeah, that right?
I'll be on the side and like
when I perform at Hula.
Dump them in.
I like that. I also loved the spider web. These people came out with like these. They didn't look like spider webs. They just look like big cotton balls. But they're like, spread these out, pass them to people, and so by the time everyone stretches them, they stretch over 50 to 100 people, this one spider web, and they were coming in from all sorts of areas of the crowd. And they looked like everyone was caught up in a giant spider web. It was super fun. Totally added to the Halloween vibe of the stage. Mm-hmm. So I really like that for future, like Halloween vibes for sure. Kind of reminds me of, I was at Blue Man Group in Vegas, and they would pass down, I think it was toilet paper from the back. And there's tons of rolls of toilet paper that covered all the crowd, and it was fun. It's like a good crowd engagement kind of thing. And I love engaging with the crowd, but obviously I can't go down and interact with every specific person, especially on like a big festival stage like this. So having these little moments that people can engage and be part of, and hopefully we're not making too much waste while we're doing it. Like this low impact, low waste, but also like high engagement for the crowd. I'd like to find more of these moments as well. Something we've done at the show is like the lasers, where I have my laser beam coming from my drum, and then I invite people up to come like trigger sounds. You put your hand in front of the laser beam. It's a sonar thing. And then you can trigger, I can adjust what sound gets assigned to that. And people have had fun with that in the past. But I also have the laser harp. It'd be really fun to, you know, find a way to get at least like those front row people or anyone that comes up on stage that I invite on stage to give me that added energy while I'm performing, to have a moment to play with that. And I can just quantize it. So there's like no wrong way to hit it. It's just you tap it and it'll quantize it to the next beat and it'll sound on point, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that would be a lot of fun. Sound musical. Yeah. I got really inspired from this past weekend of performing in Brooklyn with our friend Mendeleev, who's super freaking talented and I absolutely love and have just an organic super energy with, but just really amazing performer, singer, pianist, guitarist. And we talked like how it'd be fun to do a little project together, make some music, but actually like do some performances where we do some proper rehearsals. And I think there's something there where like it could be a sub project that we have together, or he just gets invited in as a fellow viberizer. Like the reason I have it called Viberizers plural is because it's not about me. It's about like engaging with the crowd. The crowd is Viberizers. The people at the front row, the people on stage that are bouncing, that are getting everyone else hyped, they're getting me hyped. And as they get me hyped as an artist, then it's like this continuing loop, this infinity loop, which is like the logo that we just created. It's like this infinity loop of energy that we can feed back to each other. But a big part of that's also the performers, like who's coming to perform. Maybe it's a dancer that's on stage with us. It's you that come and give me so much energy, whether you're doing environmental acting or being goofy and, you know, hopefully soon like playing the piano alongside me or whatever you feel like is your contribution to Viberizers. But performing alongside JD or Side Streets and Mendeleev and which I'm going to just start calling Lev, by the way. But that's like a really beautiful harmony of energy that we can share in this like conjoined project. And I'm like really inspired to go back and share some of this, like the DJ Pee Wee set with him. I have a bunch of notes of like things that we can do together to make a set really unique and fresh. Like I'm really inspired to have live musicians on stage with me and be doing more live musician stuff myself, like more than just the hand drum and making loops and adding that nice sexy Latin groove or whatever to any of my music. I also want to, you know, incorporate the piano and synthesizers and things that are relatively easy for me to load in and out, don't require too much sound check and setup, but also like yield a really high return of like engagement where people are engaged watching it. It's got to be a lot less physical, a lot less technically involved than my old Cristo Electric and Your Dead projects, where I had like so much interesting tech running in the background. But like if that tech went out, if my projection mapping or my motion capture artist or my wireless glove system or any of that stuff went out, then it was like detrimental to the set and it could totally handicap and destroy a DJ set. I want to avoid that. So anything that I'm adding is just that, it's additive. Without it, the DJ decks are still doing all the workload and it just turns into a normal DJ set. If the things are working, then it's flourishing, it's ear candy, it's eye candy, and it just adds to the experience and makes everything better. But the one last thing that I'll talk about is on that topic, which I think was really unfortunate. We went to our neighbor's place, the Lobsters, big group of really friendly people that invited us over to like an opening ceremony that they had. They had this nice speaker system and a fire pit, and they were running essentially afters parties after the venue shut down. And so we went over to their space 2 nights ago, I guess, and we ended up just throwing down. The DJ they had playing was fantastic. He was really amazing. We danced our asses off for an hour probably, and eventually he said, "Hey, I'm tired. I've been DJing for a long time. Do you mind taking over for a little bit?" I said, "Hell yeah, let's do it." But I'm a little like intoxicated right now, and I don't know if I, am totally down for it. And he said, "No, don't worry about it. Like, let's go for it." said, okay. And no sooner did I get on the decks, I get one song into it. As I start introducing my second song, boom, the sound goes away. And so I'm still jamming in my headphones. I can still hear it in my headphones, but everyone else at the party totally sits and everyone's looking at me, and a couple people come running up to see what was wrong. And they couldn't figure it out on the decks. It was the new Alpha Theta 2-channel mixer. So the new Pioneer mixer, essentially. And I have the 4-channel version of it. And I've had riddled all sorts of like technical issues with it, where it's like speeds up and slows down the track without me touching the tempo slider. It has issues where like it's frozen and shut off the decks by itself. And I don't know if this was a totally new issue, if it was the decks itself, or I was too intoxicated. I didn't pay attention, and I turned up the volume and overloaded the speakers and volume, and they clipped and they did an automatic shutdown or something like that. But we reset all the gear, and then all of a sudden it started working again. But they couldn't figure out what was wrong on the deck either. The three of us were all confused, like what's possibly happening? All the levels are just fine. So I don't know for sure if it was the deck or not. But it very much made it look like I was the amateur, which was super embarrassing. Honestly, it probably was my most embarrassing DJ moment that I had, having it die in the looks I was getting from everybody, given that I was only on my second song in and he'd been playing all night. It was
pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. It was so embarrassing. And it very well could have been the decks, but how do I explain that to anyone? Like, so I sit down and you try to blame something else that doesn't look professional. It's not good. It's just like own up to it, even if it wasn't your fault. And I'm like, what lesson is there to be had in there? And I think redundancy. I think when people talk about, well, why do you need CDJs to perform? Why do you need independent units to perform live? And you don't just play on an XDJ. As much as I love the Pioneer or the Denon Prime 4, my favorite deck of all time, I think. As much as I love even the XDJ AZ when it's working, like it's so powerful, you can do so much with one unit. In a professional setting, or when you actually have a crowd in front of you, if that thing goes down, in this case, the only one unit has to go down, it screws up the whole show. And it looks super, super bad. If I have 3 or 4 CDJs up on stage, if one goes down, I immediately just queue up and I start playing one of the other ones, and there's like no downtime. And, you know, it might still be noticeable to people. But yeah, so that's a reminder of, you know, when you play in front of people, I need to at least have 3 CDJs on my rider. Not to mention when I perform, I'm constantly playing on at least 3 decks, usually 4. So I need 4 needs to be on my rider anyway. But that's the riders essentially telling the venue or the promoter what you require as a performer when you go play. So that was a big reminder of that. So I think that's what lesson I learned there. Even though I know that lesson to be true, that was such an embarrassing moment. I'm like, hell, what about if I was in front of a stage of 1,000 people or 10,000 people when that happened? That would have been really embarrassing. Really, really embarrassing. I mean, it'd be more than just that. It's
a Grimes moment. That's
a Grimes moment. Besides, I wouldn't jump on the phone or on the mic and complain and blame the gear or blame the promoter.
That's what you would do.
Cry like little baby. Like little baby. So, yeah, we're just about to pull out of the parking lot. We're headed to St. Augustine, just on recommend of our friends. We didn't plan where we're going to go for tonight. So, yeah, we'll go check out that area. If it's a vibe, we'll stay at a hotel and have a short drive tomorrow to go drop off the car and fly back to New York, back to Brooklyn. I think that's good for now. You feel good?
Mm-hmm.
You have a good weekend?
Yeah, great weekend.
Thank you for coming with me and bringing me to have such a wonderful, inspiring weekend.
Thank
Experienced so much music, so much live stuff. Last night, we closed out the show with Cosmic Country. Neither one ever heard of them. It was a jam band, and they slayed. They were so good.
Yeah.
So good. So we definitely have some new artists on our roster of like must-see artists if they come to Brooklyn or we end up going to other festivals. I'm so excited about that. I'm grateful for all the inspiration and for String Cheese Incident. Thank you guys for hosting these awesome festivals, curating energy so well, beyond just the music, the activations, the personnel that work it. You guys definitely have a vibe about you, and I want to say thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's it. So for now, say goodnight. See you guys later. Toodaloo.